Well, hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Tarot for Our Times. I'm Sarah, your medium on the go. And LA has been really covered by and in fact, I did a reading, um, the previous reading I did. So that's been done pretty much, not only by commentators, but I think every reader on YouTube has probably done that. So but it's a bit of I did it in comparison to Kent State, try to be a little bit different. So what I want to do is talk about give it an energy read on what's coming up on Saturday, the No Kings protest, which it's going to be all over. I was watching Midas Touch a little earlier, and they had the map with the dots, and then I saw something a little bit later, and the whole map is, it's like the dots there's so many you can't even tell one dot from the other. So they're going to be everywhere, including, I understand, in the small towns and villages. So I want to look at this from two sides. I want to look at it from the energy of Taco, the Taco camp, and the way I did this, instead of having cards come to me, I picked a couple of cards randomly to be the focus. So let's see. For the Taco side, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse, which means the energy about that is they're just going to lie and lie and lie and probably show some footage of the 1968 Chicago riots. I mean, really. Then I want to do it from the energy of we the people, and I came up with the Chariot, which means we're moving forward. Regardless of what happens, we're moving forward. So everybody is urged to come out, unless there's some health reasons, which maybe I'm thinking of it, but I have to think about that because of that, my long COVID. So, but I think if you don't, there are other things that you can do to support it. I would say one thing I was going to suggest is that you not take your regular phone with you. Buy a burner, make up some other profile on a social media, whether Instagram, Facebook, just so you can do a live stream while it's happening. And then you want to have a phone number of a friend and a lawyer. So I would say if you can't go to the parade, maybe you make yourself available on the phone in case somebody calls and you need to get into, they tell you to call somebody else. So there are other ways, if for whatever reason you can't be there, that you can support it. So this the episode I saw of Midas Touch was very helpful because it said to that there are going to be tutorials on how to conduct yourself. And I always had a feeling that the organizers of the protest are very seasoned in, what to expect, expecting the worst, like the National Guard or the Marines or anything is like. So I'm sure they have some very experienced veterans of protests who are putting behavioral things together, which that means staying calm. And if they tell you to step off, step back on the curb, you step back on the curb. That's what's helped me from staying out of trouble at all the protests I've been in my life. So it's really, really important to stay calm because there will be people provoking you. So there are probably going to be some, Proud Boys and whatnot. I think I agreed, and I'll see what the cards have to say. I think I agree with what I heard. I was watching Hogarth's Wednesday night program. He had Lady G and David from Tarot by the Bay and Sheila on there from Colorado. And I think what their cards were saying is that he is going to be so focused on his ego trip birthday parade that I don't know how prepared he's going to be able to send the military anywhere, because there are more. I mean, as I speak, there's just more and more places popping up where it's going to be, and there are going to be thousands of troops in this spectacle. If the weather, still saying it could be a nightmare because of the weather, but so I think intuitively I do agree with the fact that he's going to be limited in what he can do with and I also believe that these are not only going to be throughout the country. I'm seeing London, Paris, Lisbon, you name it, and maybe there's small towns too. So this is a worldwide thing because the man is detested throughout the world. So at any rate, let's see. Okay, so yeah, I would definitely look for the tutorials. I'm sure they're going to be going, and if you check in with Midas Touch, they've got information too in the videos. So there's going to be a lot of information. And I'm sure Facebook and Instagram and all of them, TikTok, will be great resources for that. So it's really important to stay calm. That's the most powerful thing you can do. Just think Gandhi, Martin Luther King. Okay, so first of all, we are going to read the Taco side of the energy around this, which is big lies. So I guess I can put that back in the deck now that you've seen it. So I've been shuffling these up, and let me put this down here. Okay. Okay, so I have been shuffling away here. So, okay. So, the general energy of it right now as it builds up is... Okay, so we've got the Two of Wands, which means this hadn't occurred to me really, but they, aside from they're not organized. There aren't enough Proud Boys and whatnot to really organize them as the agent provocateur element of it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of going overseas and seeing who they can dig up for this. Maybe some people that they paid. So not only do we have that stupid birthday parade, but we also have they're probably taking our tax money to pay for a little bit of foreign help under the table, so to speak. Of course, this is all for entertainment purposes only. So the energy around that is, Three of Cups in reverse. Something tells me that this is so big that whatever they're going to try to do is not going to give them any cause to celebrate. I suspect that this training is going to be such that that it really going to be training, telling people what they can expect, and to not take the bait. Really, do not take the bait. So let's see, leading up to this in the Before Tarot, we have we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So there's a little Garden of Eden with a tempting of, yeah, this tells me there are going to be some nefarious, dirty tricks going around. I don't think they'll be doing it everywhere, but I'm thinking like New York and Boston and some of the bigger cities, and maybe with the local officials, they're going to be tempting them to, call the National Guard for no reason at all, which I think the red states might do, but not the blue states like he would like. So, and this is also saying that they're going to use in the energy of this Ace of Swords in reverse is that these protesters are a danger to Homeland Security, which is what she is, but she's in reverse. So a little after tarot says, oh, we keep getting those. Alrighty. Get the Lovers in reverse. And again, we've got a little bit of that Garden of Eden thing going with Eve, trying to. Does he? Oh no, he's kind of reaching for it. But she's got the sword of truth, so there's going to be some lie. That there's something about them tempting to, trying to tempt local officials into doing something really bad to get the people riled up. Hadn't thought of that before, but so let's see. In opposition of that is Ace of Pentacles, the corrupt money in this, but I don't know if they're not. It may be laundered money. It may be laundered money that's being thrown into this, but it's some kind of crooked money. But something tells me when they do that, that can have a big tendency to backfire. So we're going to do a little bit of been shuffling. Their conscious thoughts. Okay. Their conscious thoughts is to be really nasty. I mean, that's the whole thing, that just to be totally nasty with this. And then subconscious is we want to go back to our fantasy land. We want to go back to how we perceive of how America was great, and this whole thing is part of it, and that's kind of the fuel that's driving the engine. So in the past, we have with their planning, I don't know if they have any idea. This is going to be really big. So, okay, so in the past, we have Judgment. The Before Judgment, where Gabriel is trying to get the people out of those coffins, awaken them up. I think this is about stirring up MAGA. Now, it's kind of a torn thing because he wants everybody watching that parade, and I think that he really be focused on it, but maybe he's hoping that there will be some people that he can stir up to make some trouble at these things. But this is a dilemma because he really can't have both. But I think this was a thought that may not come to fruit. They may just not get out of those. They're in there. I just want to throw a clarifier on this. The King of Pentacles. Well, this is a practical guy. So this is kind of telling me that they want to have a nice serene day, and the parade is the big thing. The parade is the big thing. So, okay, so in the present, as we have the Hangman. Okay. So there may be a pause on, because of this dilemma of wanting to mess up the protests, along with wanting to focus all the attention on his glory. they're taking a pause. They may have to look at things in a little bit of a different light about that. But the chains also say that they kind of might be chained to the whole thing about the parade. So, as we go a little bit into the future, we have to me, this is there's a lot of infighting going on right now around the parade and around, it began with the LA stuff because there's a lot of people in MAGA who are not liking this and the MAGA politicians. So I think what they're trying to do is to do what they need to do to avoid, because this is about avoiding the conflict. So I think what they want to do is avoid any conflict or at least the appearance of the infighting. They may want to keep that under wraps. So let's see with the after tarot. What do we have coming up closer? But with strength in reverse, and she's, this is the result of her, turning the lion into the pussycat. Well, they're saying that no, they're not really going to be able to do that. They're really biting off more than they can choose. And they are, when autocrats and dictators try to pull this stuff with the armed forces and all this other crap they're doing, is they are coming from a position of weakness and not strength. So they're going to be looking weaker and weaker. And I'm telling you, with that G5 conference coming up next week, he's not going to look very strong. This is not really looking very good for them. So let's see, we got here a little further into the future. The Fool. The Fool tried he was probably started off, and he would have had to be the Fool in reverse, because he foolishly tried to take the leap of faith, and he's just hanging on to that cliff by his fingernails. A dog is probably yapping at him saying, I told you not to do this. So it looks like kind of like a disastrous kind of a thing, like not very well organized. And I guess they think they can do what they did in LA everywhere. And don't remember, there's going to be a lot of troops in that parade, so good luck with that. So in the hopes and the fears, the hope is trying to hold off the protests. The fear is it's getting too big. They won't be able to do it. It's just getting way, way too big. So the conclusion of this is going to be the Knight of Cups. It's going to be hard because what I'm seeing is that they may be getting some old, the people that may be organizing this, maybe some older hippies from back in the day who say you've got to bring the message of love. You just can't be against Trump. There's got to be a message of love for the people, because when we protested the war in Vietnam, I remember, oh boy, I forgot about painting the faces with carrying flowers and stuff, and bringing the message of love and peace. And that is very powerful, because they don't know what to do with that. They really do not know what to do with that. So it's very important. So this doesn't look too good for them, because they're going to have to, to use the old cliche, they're going to have to chew gum and walk at the same time. So, knowing the whole narcissistic, Northern Korea thing of this, in those countries, they can order people to go and watch that. But even though they're trashing our democracy, they're not there, and don't. Hopefully, they never will be there. So it's a big task. A big parade like this, it's a big thing to carry off. They're probably going to have to repave the streets of Pennsylvania Avenue. They've been advised that those tanks are too heavy for the street. So there's a lot of logistics, and there's only so many National Guards they can send out for this. So it really looks as though this may be a little bit too much for them. Now, there might be that, they could pinpoint some areas, but apparently they're already protests. I mean, there was one, as I said in the previous video, there was one in downtown Pittsburgh yesterday that looked like it was one of those growing in size, but it went peacefully. And it looks as though that's happening in other cities too, is that there's like a multitude of people, but frankly, maybe to law enforcement, may be boring, actually. So now we want to see what we the people, how we the people are going to be, what the energy is around that. I know that they, what I see is, and we have the energy, we have the energy of the Chariot, which is meaning that this movement is moving on. And what I suspect is that if the weather messed up the parade and even stopped it, it's hard to say, that we're going to be moving on. This side will be moving on forward with the Chariot. And that whatever has happened in LA has not deterred. In fact, if anything, it's probably going to bring more people out into the streets. So I think that whoever is the, MoveOn.org, all of these other organizations organizing it are being prepared. LA has been a good training ground too for seeing the pitfalls to avoid, and actually knowing the history of LA, like I said in the previous one, it's always volatile there, but taking that into consideration, there's been some vandalism and a couple of hundred people arrested, but they're arrested by the police. They're not arrested by the military. So it's basically the the National Guard is there to help out and maybe to present a strong presence where they, just by their being there is a deterrent. It certainly would be for me, that's for sure. So as far as we the people go, let's see where the energy is with this. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Alright. Oh, sorry. Going the wrong way here. Okay. So. Okay. So we have here the main energy is the Empress in reverse. So the main energy about that is that we're not going to be like Russia, because this is Mother Russia, who is now she's very weak. She has been coming up reverse in a lot of these readings. So she's very weak, and I think this is to show we're not Russia, so don't act like a dictator. That is the general energy that I am seeing in that. And then we have the energy around that is the Eight of Pentacles, which means that there's been a lot of careful planning behind the scenes. I would even say that there might be some money, like with the ACLU and some other organizations, some money set aside for bail, attorneys, that sort of thing. So this is looking like we're not going to be Russia. We are prepared. So, in opposition to that, here we go. The main energy of the whole thing is like, we know there may be some foreign trolls in this, and we're kind of ready. We know there could be some trolls in this, so let's see. The with the before tarot we have we have the Eight of Swords. I always have to look at these. It looks like that. You know what that figure looks like? That looks like ice. That looks like it. That hooded and all of that. That looks like ice taking the prisoner. So a lot of these, this makes a lot of sense because the LA protests have really been against this sort of thing, and that's what a lot of if there's some early protests, that's what they're about. Being very aware of that. So let's see with the Russia, we're not Russia in reverse, is that this could very well be an undercurrent too. So there will be some signs about that. This is going to be a multi-purpose protest. And the after thing, oops, sorry, wrong deck. Okay, the after tarot is, interesting, the Sun in reverse. This could be about not, for the protesters, is like not being very open about this whole thing. I think it's about not if there's any interaction with police or National Guardsmen, that not to be very open about information. You answer only the questions you're legally obligated to answer. This is kind of like knowing your rights and not saying any more than you have to say. So this is talking about preparation. This is very interesting. So on the conscious level, we have very appropriate, learning from LA. We may expect that there may be some trouble, but we are going to live to fight another day. So this is and this is learning the lesson from LA. We're not going to let this scare us. I think that, yes, that's definitely it. And if there are some incidents, and we will do everything will be done to avoid them. If there are some incidents, you learn, patch yourself up, and do it again, and not be scared off. On the subconscious level, we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I think the subtext about this is the corruption. It's very much about the corruption, and also about the funding being taken away for Medicare and a lot of these other things that they're trying to cut. So there's the, even though it's part of this whole thing, but that there will be some signs about that. So that's very much about they're having a parade and we can't get our medical care. So that makes sense. So in the past, in getting prepared for this, we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is she's a very she's one of the richer Queen of Pentacles I've seen. Okay, this is also about homeland security. So that's really being very much in order. She's the kind of person that she has obtained her abundance by careful planning, hard work, and careful planning. So in order to keep this thing secure, this is what I'm seeing is the careful planning. And it's a female energy. And it's an earth sign. She's usually a Capricorn. Very grounded. That's the whole thing. It's like being very, very grounded. So this is kind of in the planning thing. Being very well prepared to be secure. Then, this is not going to be a helter-skelter, let's just get impromptu, let's get out on the streets kind of a thing. So, in the present, we have Hot Devil here. What this is saying is that there will be forces that will be tempting people into misbehaving. And it will be kind of an alluring thing to do. So this is one of those things. I think this is one of those things they're addressing. The devil will be in there. Which is saying that there will be plants of people trying to make trouble. And they will be maybe a little bit on the seductor, sucking people into it, so to speak. So on the day of, in the near future, we have Judgment. This is the calling of the people to come. This is the message, and this is all about what I'm seeing, because I've heard some of the more woo-woo people saying that we are going through a shift. And I would like to look at the astrological stuff of what's going to happen that day. Hopefully Andre and Marianne and Hogarth will be on talking about that. You'll see this Thursday, but it's Wednesday now. So this may be part of the Great Awakening Aquarian Age. He's sending the signal, and you see all people of all ages and generations getting out of the grave. I've seen on social media a lot of people who are not exactly spring chickens saying, I never went to a protest in my life, but I will be coming to this. So this is a very positive, this is not a mob. These are people that have become like-minded, and some of them that might have even, hopefully, I don't think there'll be triple Trumpers in there, but there might be some that are, regretted 16, 20, that kind of thing. And so, yes, this is a great coming together with the angel Gabriel. It's not the call to arms, it's the call of the angels, which makes this quite nice. So, in the after tarot we have, this is interesting. Okay, this is the Ten of Wands, and it's the one where the guy's got all of those tied to his back in a most uncomfortable way. So then they're all dropped. He said, I can't take it anymore. They're all dropped. So now he's got to figure out, how can I pick these up and not overburden myself. So what this is saying, again, organizational wise, people will be delegating different tasks, so not one person is carrying the whole burden. Very interesting. Look, and I think this is like right before, maybe this is like Friday or something like that. So let's see the day of into the future. So this person has put all of he's worked hard, he's put all of his pentacles in place. It looks like that bottom thing might be some piece of art. That sort of has an echo of the Three of Pentacles, with the artisan making the beautiful windows with the pentacles and talking to the patrons. So that's a kind of a little bit of an echo of that. So it's talking about being very well planned, and he's just checking the final thing at the last minute. Yep, this is saying that Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the love with it, but knowing that it's back in the 60s and 70s it felt more spontaneous, but it was those were still pretty well planned. So a little further out in the future, oh, here we have this coming up again. I would say this is, yeah, there are going to be some pitfalls, so this is a warning to not take any don't be foolish and take unnecessary risks. If something, and this was always my philosophy, if something feels off, you back off, you leave, you get way outside of the perimeter, then wait and see what's going to happen. So this is a warning from the devil, and here they're all doing the planning, they're getting the people, so it's just be very, very careful of the pitfalls. But that goes with, I highly urge you to watch the tutorials. So in our hopes and fears portion of this, we have this is interesting because this, okay, so the hope is that we are going to glide into smoother waters, but I would say that with this being in reverse, I would say that only part of the journey, this is just the beginning of it. We're not going to be doing the whole thing. That after Saturday, that's only the beginning. We will not have, we still have choppy waters ahead. In this one, he's sailing out of it. We have choppy waters ahead, but it will be worth it. But the hope is that the hope is to get out of the choppy water. The fear is that, oh, we won't, but we need to. It's just like it's not all going to happen in one day. That's how I see this. So in conclusion, for right now, maybe I'll do one the night before. I don't know. So to conclude this, we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, which I would say this is usually the card of the legacy and the corrupt family. I would say it's best to be prepared because there could be some funny money coming into this, and I would say they may be too busy on the top, but I would say watch out for it with the local people, especially if you live in red states and districts where they'll be doing it. There may be some corrupt money paying some people to make trouble. So I would say that, now I can put this up, I would say that the big message coming from we the people is to be incredibly prepared, because the planners are really I think they're creating all of these scenarios that would be the envy of us that was doing this way back in the day. Wish we had known that then. Maybe some people that learned the hard way, that there will be a lot of people coming out, and with very peaceful intents. But there are some, the Garden of Eden stuff, that there will be some, from the last one, they will be throwing some temptation that watch out for this fellow. He may, this fellow, this kind of devil could appear to be on your side, and then all of a sudden he could be someone that's with, oh, I get it now. Oh, yes. Okay. I get this now. That there could be some people, and they may do it on their own without any help from the government, and some will, some won't, but they'll really be all the peace and love and with you. But as soon as some of the counter protesters come in, they could start to turn and get physical, hoping they're going to drag you into it. So be very, very, that's why this is the hot devil instead of the ugly devil. This is the hot devil who will be very smooth, and then at the least sign of a trouble, he'll just get into a fight and suck everybody in. So be very, very careful. You can be friendly with him, but I would say, but I'm sure that, see, when you're in a group like that, I can say from experience and being an intuitive, even though I didn't know it back then, that while you can start to smell trouble, there's something about the heighten of the energy of the crowd, in protests that allow your senses to be on high alert and go with them because they won't do you wrong, and because you can catch on to this guy really quick because he'll kind of steer people over to the troublemakers. But I would say you really take advantage of that adrenaline and intuition flowing, because this guy's going to be scattered in the crowd. So, because they want us to riot, and it's very important not to buy into that. So, at any rate, there's hopefully I think there are going to be big turnouts. There already are. Now they aren't being covered because it's all been on the LA thing, so which is kind of understandable, but I have seen stuff where there are people gathering in other cities. So be very, very safe. Very safe, and the big message is do not take the bait. Do not take it. So with that, I'm going to sign off for now. Bye.